What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got for you a couple of classic Entitled Parents stories, starting off with this one, which involves an old man in a sauna and one unlucky lifeguard. Entitled customer ignored sauna rules, claims lifeguard assaulted him, called the cops, tried to do a hit piece of journalism, and yelled at me for not handing over personal details of the lifeguard. The title should tell you that this person is a nutter. For some background, I work in a swimming pool part-time on a weekend on top of a full-time job. I enjoy the change in work environments and the benefits that come with it. The pool has a sauna, steam room, and spa as well. The sauna is where this all started. This older gentleman, probably late 50s, early 60s, had started to rock up and use the sauna. Typically, there's no problem with this, but he likes to lie down and have a nap in the sauna and then crack it at staff members who check on him to make sure he's okay. He's been told multiple times that he is not to lie down and have a nap or ignore lifeguards when they ask him to give a sign that he's okay. One day, there was a rotation on pool deck. No problems. This lifeguard was a bit more diligent in his job and saw that head count for the sauna hadn't been updated for about 45 minutes. He sticks his head in the sauna, and a lady in there tells him that the guy lying down hasn't moved for about 30 minutes since she arrived. The lifeguard immediately asked if he was okay. No response. He asked again, no response. He asked again, but louder, and basically yelling for the person lying down to respond. No response. The lifeguard then started the DRABCs and went for a response that involves tapping the person on the collarbone, yelling, "Are you okay?" after radioing that we have a possible major. Well, this old man was not happy in the slightest that this lifeguard had 1. Woken him up from his nap, and 2. Had viciously assaulted him. He went off his nutter and had a massive argument with the manager about what the lifeguard did, and he demanded that the lifeguard be fired for assaulting him in the sauna. The manager told him that it wasn't going to happen, and so the old man stormed off to the changing rooms. He came out about 15 minutes later, dressed, and told staff not to talk to him. After 20 minutes of waiting in the foyer, the cops show up because they got a report that a person was assaulted in the sauna, but they didn't even get to finish their sentence before he interrupted, yelling that he was the one who was assaulted, that it was that lifeguard out there who did it, and I demand that you arrest them for assault because management here won't do anything about it. One of the officers stayed and spoke to the manager and the man, who went from yelling to sobbing about how he was viciously assaulted in the sauna, while the other officer went and spoke to the lifeguard, who explained what he did. Cops left the facility and told the old man they weren't arresting him or taking details because he was doing his job. The man promptly threw a massive tantrum as the cops left and ended up throwing a bin on the ground before storming out in tears. About 4 weeks later, a journalist from the local newspaper calls the facility because they have a story about the place and they were wanting to get a comment about it. The journalist said that this older man was assaulted in the sauna by a lifeguard and that the facility had done nothing about it, and the man was left bedridden for a week, ended up in hospital because he had breathing difficulties and was covered in bruises, and that he had a possible hairline fracture on his collarbone from the assault, and he's just really upset about it all. Management told the journalist exactly what happened, and we sent her an incident report form about the incident, along with a few others, showing that the man has been told before not to sleep in the sauna and not to abuse staff who check on him, and if they put out a defamatory story, then lawyers would be involved. Thankfully, the story was killed. Now on to me. I was working over the weekend, and the same man came in with some papers that he showed me that he got from lawyers. He then told me that he was suing the lifeguard who assaulted him in the facility for damages, and that I had to hand over to him the full name. He only had the first name, address, phone number, and date of birth of the lifeguard. I told him that I was unable to do that and that any legal action undertaken against a member of staff has to go through the council's legal team. This is a rough transcript of what he told me. Are you finished? Yes. Good. Now do your job and give me what I've asked from you. I'm not able to give you that information. If you want to... Are you incapable of doing your job? No, sir, I am not. Then do your job and give me the details of the man who assaulted me. Sir, I'm not allowed to give out any personal details. This is for legal purposes. You are required to hand over the information of that lifeguard to me. Sir, don't yell. And no, I am bound by contract not to give out any personal details of the staff here. Any legal action goes through the council's legal team. I'm not suing the council, I'm suing that lifeguard who assaulted me. If you do not hand over the information, then I'll have you charged and thrown into prison for obstructing the court of justice. Sir, go through the legal... No! He was actually stomping at this point. Give me your name right now. No. You are bound, by law I might add, to hand over the details of that man, because it is for legal purposes. Go through the legal for the third time, I am not suing the council, I am suing that lifeguard. Now give me his details. By this time, management had heard the yelling and had come down. Amazingly enough, a member of the council's legal team was there, who tried to have a talk with the man, but he refused because I am not suing the council, I'm suing that lifeguard. The man left, yelling at customers about how the facility is defending a man who assaulted him in the sauna and left him hospitalized. As he left, he yelled that he'll be going onto social media to have this place shut down, and that he had recorded the entire incident on a hidden camera. To date, it's been 3 weeks since this incident, and nothing has appeared on social media. Yeah, well then, it's pretty clear they don't really come much weirder than this old man. What, first of all, is he doing just going to sleep in the sauna? To be fair, sounds pretty relaxing, but he's been told not to do that for safety reasons. Stop doing it, mate. You can go and sleep in your own bed after you've gone to the sauna. Weird. Second of all, why is he lying about having a secret why would he ever have a secret camera recording in that situation? You're telling me he's gone into the sauna, right, with very few clothes on, because, you know, it's a sauna, with his phone, and he's just recording. That is so weird, first of all, because you're around other, half-clothed people that are relaxing in a sauna. Second of all, are you trying to catch out a lifeguard? Are you trying to, get some sort of legal questioning going or something? Is your main aim to fake being asleep, fake being dead, get a lifeguard to come and touch you, then argue that was somehow assault, and then you start a legal case? What a weird bloke. One of those people that you would just never like to meet, and I hope I never come within a mile radius of him, because he is messed up in the head. Now moving on to our second story of today's video. Employee screams at guy who turns out to be the CEO of the company, then gets fired. This is actually a story from my mum from a couple of years ago. She works for an energy company in the customer service, taking phone calls, answering questions, and sometimes helping fix simple issues. The company started not that long ago, and she was one of the few first employees. So right from the start, she knew pretty much everyone who worked there, including the CEO, who she describes as a very nice, down-to-earth guy who'd always dress pretty casually so he'd blend in with everyone else pretty easily. After a couple of months, they started hiring more people to work, including this one guy who was apparently very entitled and considered himself better than everyone else. Mum and a few others didn't like him because he was apparently arrogant, always tried to correct others only to be wrong himself, kept making the same mistakes, ignored many rules on the floor, and had a huge temper, and would scream and curse at anyone who said something he didn't like. The screaming would 99.9% of the time be something along the lines of, "Who the F do you think you are to insert whatever someone did or said?" Many complained about him, but the manager at the time was too nice or scared or both to actually do something about him. One day, he was apparently playing games on his phone and at the same time talking to a customer and telling them all kinds of random wrong things when the CEO came to check the floor after a meeting. Seeing this guy, he walked up to him and calmly informed him he wasn't allowed to have his phone out while helping a customer, so he could completely focus on the customer for the moment. Cue the guy literally throwing his headset off, jumping to his feet, and screaming in the CEO's face, "And who the F do you think you are to tell me how to do my freaking job?" along with stomping his foot at each syllable. The boss stood there for a moment, obviously in shock, and the guy, thinking he'd won, smirked all smug, before the boss pulled a, boss move. Well, I just so happen to be the freaking CEO of this freaking company, he screamed back, even copying the foot stomping. The dumb guy lost his smirk, and according to my mum, went from angry bright red to pure white in half a second. The boss then calmly grabbed the headset, which apparently still had the customer on, who had held everything, and apologized for what she'd heard, and just asked her what she needed help with. They finished in a minute before hanging up once again and apologizing, and telling her the other guy was fired so it wouldn't happen again. As soon as he hung up, he just said to the guy that he was serious and he'd better gather his stuff. At the end, the annoying employee was gone. The manager got a talk on dealing with bad employees, and someone baked the boss a cake. And there we go, a nice little simple one. Again, I've seen this sort of story before, but put yourself in this guy's shoes. How embarrassing must it be to go from thinking you've absolutely dominated a random person or maybe some other employee you don't know to realizing that that is your ultimate boss and that you've just ruined your entire career in that one moment of stupidity. First of all, it's pretty stupid to be on your phone whilst talking to a customer. That's embarrassing and that is not doing your job correctly. But then doing that on top of this, crazy. What an idiot, and yeah, fair enough, he didn't deserve to be at the company. The manager should have been a bit harsher because if you're getting loads of complaints about one employee, they're probably not doing their job very well. And yeah, well done on the boss for blending in and getting rid of that absolute fraud. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/entitled people. More entitled people than entitled parents, wasn't it? If you did enjoy it and you want more from me right away, check out a couple of videos on screen. If you are new to the channel, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, both are absolutely free, and I will see you all tomorrow with a brand new video, same time, same place.